In the last video, we went through the process of cutting our medallion from a block of aluminum. Now it's time to give it a more attractive finish. For this process, you'll need a hot plate or stove, thermometer, some pots, Tupperware, I'm using polypropylene, 100% lye drain opener, some dye, battery acid, a standard battery charger with leads, some lead plate, and a few gallons of distilled water. Since we'll be dealing with some harsh chemicals, you definitely should be wearing some gloves and proper eye protection. Now we want to mix our 2 chemical baths. We want to mix 3 tablespoons of 100% lye for every gallon of distilled water, and we want to make a 50-50 mix of battery acid and distilled water. It's also a good idea to label your Tupperware so you don't get your chemicals mixed up. I mixed some dye with distilled water until the color looked adequate. Then we need to heat this mix to about 125 degrees. I started this pretty early on as it takes a little bit. Next, we need to clean and completely degrease our part. I used some brake parts cleaner for this. Now we can submerge it in the lye bath. The etching process took about 3 minutes and the aluminum turned to a dark gray. After rinsing in distilled water, we'll submerge the part in the acid mixture with the positive connected to the part and the negative on the lead plates. Make sure the part does not come into contact with the plates directly. After about an hour in the acid mixture, we'll then rinse the part in distilled water. Once fully rinsed, we can then submerge it in the hot dye mixture. After letting it sit in the hot dye for about 10 minutes, we then move it to a pot of boiling water to sit for 20 minutes. So this is the final result. I wasn't fully happy with the finish as much of the color bled out during the boiling process, but the final result presented this sort of rustic, metallic aesthetic. So overall, I'm happy to finish this project. I think we'll try this process again in the future with some improvements.